Good evening everyone, welcome to FGMeCast. For your Monday night, we hit another week up and we start another week with the Truck Series. And we're at Milwaukee tonight. I said we were at Milwaukee last week, we're there tonight. So we've caught back up on the calendar, we're back up to speed. And speaking of getting back up to speed, I'm joined by Carl with me. Good evening, Carl.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody. Yes, we are here at the Milwaukee Mile, a relatively short track here that's going to be pretty spicy. It's very flat, very quick, and can give some great racing. So this could be an interesting one tonight.
Spicier than a good Vindaloo. We were just talking about the current practice situation on track. Ryan Jones is the fastest man out there at the moment. That's turn the corner for Jonesy. There's only practice. Mirko Dortnak, currently second fastest. So it's a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons at the moment.
Yeah, Mirko is one of those drivers that will have a night where he is just untouchable and very fast. It can be a bit sporadic sometimes, Mirko, but definitely has the speed underneath him and is a car to watch out for, you know. He has got a cup victory under his belt as well, so you know, he has got the speed there when he needs it. Sometimes not consistent on laps, but it is so close up there at the top. Ryan Jones with a 30.178, Mirko Dortnak 30.187, and then you have Luke Hare 30.232. There's nothing between those guys. It is so close all the way down, as you would expect here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's not a long track exactly, but it is very close nonetheless. So expect to see the drivers struggling a little bit out there as the laps go on. The tyres are going to drop off a bit. We say that many weeks, but tonight it can be a bit of a tyre chewer. So the drivers will be thinking about that one, and they'll be pondering about their tyre situation as well for pit stops, because that's going to be a big part of the balancing act tonight, is getting the pit stops, because it's unlimited tyre sets again tonight, so they can come in as much as they want. So if we do have a few cautions, expect to see the field coming down, and we'll see who's taken a note of the notes and who hasn't.
Some new camera angles again here tonight, just having a play with those with the Toyota Tundra. So we're doing a little bit of a special run out of the iRacing Racing Electra Hair entry tonight, so you can see we've got a good view out of the back of the truck here. As well as, I think, now we can see the damage that's right in the front corner of the way down machine. So Luke Wackby, thank yes for that one, but we'll come back with a few of those pictures later on. Probably a good time. We've got 10 minutes to go here, Carl. Just have a quick rundown of the current championship standings after 2 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. So after Auto Club, of course, Montana and Iowa last week out, championship standings are as off. So I just want to double check I'm on the right one, because yes, I am. So after 2 rounds, we have Season 1 champion Stevie Williams. Stephen Williams is in the lead of the championship once more. Consistency is key, and Stevie Dove showing it once again. Dave Douglas in second, just 2 points off the lead. 7 points down is Riley Curtis, with Maddie Ray 11 off the lead in fourth. Fifth, we have Matt Hunter 14 off the lead. Sixth, we have Scott Griffiths and Tristan Koch, both 16 points down. 8th, we have Josh Micklemore, 18 points off the lead. Strange to see Josh Micklemore so far down in the championship. Expect that to change. His teammate Jason Martin sits behind him in 9th, 21 off the lead. And then Danny G, the other teammate, sits in 10th, 22 points off the lead. He made 19 positions after the last race. So Danny G definitely getting a good climb up the scoreboard after his finish last time out.
Yeah, it was a good run for them last time, but yes, as you say, very interesting, and no mention of Jason Martin really either, so there's a little bit of work to do there for the Mitch Motorsport boys. Martin back in at the fray tonight, and it looks like we've got no Edward Foster this evening either.
No, it looks like Foster is taking the night off, so it's not his predominant series, the trucks. It's not one of his main focuses, but he does like to give them a bit of a go when he can. But tonight obviously is a night that he's decided, no, I'm just going to have a bit of a relax, bit of a rest, possibly watch the broadcast, much like Mr. Hobbs, Mr. Hobbo watching the broadcast. Nice to have you in watching tonight and joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Hobbo's running in a special event tonight, so it's nice of him to drop by make some time for us as well. So just looking there at Mirko, just driving along the fence. So he's probably just trying to get that out of the way before we get into the main race tonight. But of course, before that, we've got qualifying coming up in just on 8.5 minutes. A big week on the channel, Carl. Last week we had some great racing in the AUSPRO-AM Sim Series, as well as the Xfinity and the Cup, as well as we got through the second of the chase rounds in the Cup.
Yeah, really good racing last time out, and we saw that fantastic run in the Cup. Sorry, the wrong Hobbs. It was Brent Hobbs, 64, of course. Just showing off, just letting us know about the new paint for Send It Sim Sports Season 4 paints. So nice looking paints on that one.
There he is there on screen, Brent. Sorry, it's what happens when you've got a Hobbo and a Hobbs, but there it is there, the Send It Sim Boys. Did see the announcement about that during the week as well, so they've got all new liveries for this coming season. It's one of the Sim Boys guys just gets in on the act there.
Yeah, just deciding to jump the fence there a little bit. So yeah, it's a very nice new paint scheme. It doesn't take much to confuse us up here in the commentary booth, so it's quite easily done.
That's why we're up here.
Yep, that's it. This is why they don't let us out on the track. We just like to sit up here and watch what we can on the broadcast and keep an eye on the old cameras and go from there, really.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's as I said, a busy week last week, and the chase is just starting to heat up as well. Yeah, the chase is getting the 2 races in, of course, so the chase is starting to heat up a little bit, and those drivers will be getting very they're starting to think about it now. It's getting to the stage when you're getting to the last 8 races. Last 6 races are crucial, but those last 8 races, they start to really start selling in, and you start to get an idea of who's going to have a good run, who is not, and it's starting to form out a little bit. Of course, we saw in the Xfinity as well, really nice race, a little bit. Few incidents, unfortunately, and as is the case on oval racing, sometimes you do have incidents on ovals. It is one of the drawbacks of racing at maximum pace on a very sort of short, twisty, very short, tight, left-handed turning oval. You are going to have incidents because you are racing so close. But we also saw some really great racing as well. Yeah, the finish was very, very close. Across both of those races, and of course we saw in the main game in the chase, the second week in a row we had a team lockout on the podium. Of course, we had DPR in the first race of the chase, and we had a little bit of a Mitch Motorsport revenge mission last week. Yeah, revenge of the Mitch came in hard with the chase last time out. Three of their cars up in the top 3 of all of their cars in the top 10 as well. I think that's something that needs to be stated too. A really good job by them. Danny G not having the best of nights, but still managing to get a top 10 position. Fantastic job by them. Who is going to be the next team to take it all out? I mean, it gets a bit tricky because there's not that many teams that can actually get all 3 cars into the top 3. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody else can manage that, or if it will just be DPR and Mitch managing that feat this season. Do we have any early mail on who's going to take out the chase? Oh, too early to say. Too early to say. Don't want to put the kiss of death. I don't want to curse it. Don't want to give anybody the curse. That's it. Don't want to put the kiss of death very early on. Well, look, it is back on Thursday night as well. We're back here for the chase. Not here specifically, but we're back on FGMeCast for the chase on Thursday night. So do join us for that one. But of course, before then, we've got plenty of racing coming up, including tomorrow night, Carl. We're heading Formula 1 side. We're off to the Dutch countryside tomorrow night for the AUSPRO-AM Sim Series. Yes, we are off down to the beach. We are going to get our white hankies on our heads and put our sandals on and get nice and chilled out at the lovely beach of Zandvoort. And that's going to be, that is so exciting, of course. Formula 1 getting back there for the first time since 1985. Brilliant to see. And those Dutch fans were something else. Yeah, it was a fantastic race last night. Watched it back again this morning. And for a circuit where they said there wouldn't be much passing, look, there wasn't a ton of it, but one particular Red Bull managed to make its way from the back of the grid up into 7th position. So Sergio Perez had a really good run there. So hopefully we'll see lots of passing tomorrow night. Of course, the grid in Oz-Pro-Am is substantially bigger than the Formula 1 grid. So those early corners that we saw last night were very, very tight in the Formula 1. Are going to be even wilder in Oz-Pro-Am.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And I was going to say, the GT cars are substantially bigger, but they're really not that much bigger than a modern-day Formula 1 car. The modern-day Formula 1 cars are about the size of an F truck these days. So they're similar sizes, in all honesty. But the thing about the GT cars is you can take a few different lines, and that's going to be exciting to watch. So again, that's going to be an exciting one here on FGMeCast. So make sure to hit the old subscribe button so you can make sure to catch that one on live or replay.
Absolutely. We just saw there Luke Trahere practicing a run into the pit lane. That's going to be very important tonight. It's a little tricky to get into, particularly at race pace. So he just did us the favour there and showed us that entry. So there's time to make up there as well tonight as we head into the last couple of minutes of practice. So you see a couple of the drivers will make their way through and get that practice done as they get this one concluded. And qualifying coming your way. Of course, if it is the first time you're joining us, solo qualifying as always in ANZCAR and in NASCAR, so that drivers there will have 2 laps to set their best lap. And we'll get Carl to talk us around this very short track. 30 seconds at the moment. No one has broken that mark. 30.18 still stands Ryan Jones as the fastest man on track. Nick Dyson's moved himself up through the practice into 4th. Dave Douglas into 5th. So it is going to be nice and tight this qualifying, that's for sure. There's not going to be a lot of advantage, obviously, being such a short track for the draft or any of those sorts of factors. Tyre management very much it here tonight.
Tyre management and keeping it out of the walls, that's going to be a crucial part of the night. Just keeping the car relatively clean, not getting too much damage on the front. There's going to be 32 cars out there as well, or 32 trucks out there I should say, and that's going to make it quite compact as well. I mean, this is only a mile-long circuit, so when you've got 32 vehicles out on the circuit, it gets very cramped very quickly. So passing, lapped cars, traffic management, all going to be key to tonight's race. They're all crucial to get right.
And how's the weather? 45-degree track temperatures as well, just to contribute to that one a little bit more. So it's going to be brutal.
Yeah, that is going to make it just a tad little bit trickier. Add a little bit more heat to it, and look, it just adds to the problem on those tyres. They're going to struggle out there, and as you sort of, if you've ever driven hot laps and things like that, you get to know that tyre heat is the devil. When your tyres get hot, it is really, really tricky, and it's not fun at all. And nobody likes overly hot tyres, and keeping those tyres in a condition where they're operating correctly, that's going to be one of the key features for tonight's race. And whoever can get that working out perfectly is going to work out well. We might see a few people trying some sneaky extra stops. So probably going to be looking at a single stop race here tonight, but we might see a few people try the double tonight to see if they can take advantage of that tyre wear and take advantage of those tyres as they drop off.
So that concludes practice. Let's get into qualifying here for the Truck Series on FGMeCast. And we're just waiting for the server to load up our drivers. And then we're going to pick one cruel person. Not even a cruel person. One person to be cruel to, I should say. And first man out of the blocks tonight was actually Gary Wellman. So we're going to jump on board with Gary. He's had a couple of good performances of late. Not as good as he would like, but not too bad overall.
Gary Wellman's definitely been stepping up recently with the Sim Boys. So those guys have been having a great run, snatching wins when they need to. So here we come up to the start-finish line across the checkered flag section into the first corner, braking, getting down low. You want to keep just above that black section. just keep the car even around the corner, not letting the back end step out too much. Get back on the power for this very short straight. Again, we're going to be chucking it into the corner, heavy on the brakes, into the corner, nose dips down, get into the corner again, just avoiding that black section until the middle, cutting across it, getting a nice run off of there. That little bit of asphalt has a little bit more grip to it, the rest of it is concrete, so you find that there's a little bit more grip down there for certain spots. So this second lap is going to be where Gary Wellman's going to attack now. He's doing the full attack on the asphalt, trying to get it down there, sticking it on there as much as he can, getting the speed out the corner. And again, he'll get down there not too early, just want to get in there sort of almost mid-corner. He misses out a little bit, not fully on there, that's going to cost him some time. But again, just getting on that asphalt is important because it's just got a little bit more grip on there. It just helps you have a little bit more exit speed, and that lap is good enough for P number 5. So gets Gary Wellman up to P5. That second lap is definitely the faster lap. But we'll see how this one runs out from now. Currently, Ryan Jones in the lead with Andrew Dyson second, Danny G third with Josh Mickelmore in fourth, and Dwayne Priest jumping up to fifth.
Just jumping on board here with Jason Martin, who we're seeing him out for the first time. And he is just about to start his second flying lap. Goes straight up to P3 if you don't mind. Did not turn a lap in practice. So that shows you any indication of how Justin Martin feels here at Milwaukee. He's just rolled the purple 21 out of the shed, straight up to P3. Second lap around, how's he going to go? Is he going to get improvement here? Green first half of the lap, so it looks like he will improve. And no, he doesn't, just drops a little bit there in the second half of the lap, so it doesn't quite get that done, but straight up into P3. Riley Curtis currently in P4. So he's had a good lap as well. Who else we got to run here? Dave Douglas is still about to run, and so is Mirko Dortnak. So we'll just jump on board with them for the minute. And
Mirko Dortnak getting a really nice run up there, straight up to P5 for him. So in the white machine, just absolutely nailing that lap. Very quick around this track, Mirko. As I said, he's one of those drivers that can just get on the pace. Riley Curtis just pipping him. Dave Douglas just pipping him, just jumping up into P number 4. So Dave Douglas getting a really good run out there as well. But Daniel Weaver out there, newcomer to the series. So teammate to Brent Hobbs and Jamie Budd. So nice to see another team showing up for the series, and another really nice paint scheme on those cars as well. So distinctive paint scheme as well.
Double D just pops it onto pole, just pips Ryan Jones at the post with his second lap there by the barest of margins.
By the absolute skin of his teeth. There is nothing between those two times on my screen. 30.161, 30.161 for both Dave Douglas and Ryan Jones. That is ridiculously, you can't get closer than that.
I wonder how the system's actually told them apart there, the exact lap times between them. So there you go, dead heat at the front,
down to the millionth. It's that has got to be the
first.
Closest. Yeah, maybe. I've never seen it that close. I've never seen dead equal times like that in iRacing. Of course, we did see it famously. We saw it back at the European Grand Prix at Jerez in 97, I think. 97 with Damon Hill, Villeneuve, and I think it was Hakkinen. All three of them setting the exact same lap time. But Dave Douglas must have gone just a billionth quicker than Ryan Jones because he has managed to pip him, because otherwise he would have been second. So because it goes off of who sets the time first. So what a pole position from Dave Douglas.
Absolutely. So it is Dave Douglas, and you can see there 0.000 to Ryan Jones. Then you got Andrew Dyson and Jason Martin off row 2 with Riley Curtis and Mirko Dortnak off 3. Then it's Danny G and Scott Griffiths off 4 with Stephen Williams and Josh Mickelmore off 5. Then Luke Trahere and Dwayne Priest off row 6. As we flip it back a little, we've got Tim Weston, Ben Vickers, followed by Tristan Cocken, Cade Donnelly, and it's Gary Wellman and Brent Hobbs, followed by Lachlan Urquio and Bruce Barnes. Then next off 21 is Aaron Dillon with Aidan Schultz. Next to him, it is Aaron Finlay and Norman Clark. And as we head towards the back, it is Daniel Weaver, Todd Maxfield, followed by Noddy Tompkins, Igor Burkick, Jamie Budd, Matty Hunter, Ruben Phelps and Matty Raymond just down the back there. If you don't mind, watch for them to make their way through. Not something we are unfamiliar with at all.
No, very much so. So watch out for Matty Ray coming from the back. I think Stevie Dub might have got a penalty from last time out, so he's going to be getting an end of the line for that one, unfortunately. So possibly a bit of infringement from last time out. I'm trying to remember the stewarding reports now. But yeah, so that will drop him down a bit. But watch those end of the line guys. See how they go. It's going to be so close between Douglas and Jones right here. This is going to be a really juicy race. A few people just struggling on the starts a little bit. A couple of issues, people just getting away. It looked almost like a couple of people just stalled. And you can see Stevie Dub just dropping to the back of the line there as well. But just having a little bit of a moment from the standing start. These things, they don't like standing starts too well, and it's quite easy to spin them up, and nobody wants to put too much temperature in those rear tyres too quickly.
So that will mean we will have one extra formation lap, I believe. So let's get this out of the way. Necessary requirement for us to get this done. So we're doing 100 laps tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. It's Dave Douglas, Ryan Jones, flat heat, dead heat even, for pole position. Dave Douglas getting that one, so that's
ANZCAR is in and away we go. Dave Douglas gets a good start there from Ryan Jones. You can see Dyson is already trying to get underneath Ryan Jones on that inside line. Jason Martin putting pressure on there already. Jones jumping down on the inside to block that move from Dyso, and Jason Martin just sitting up there on the high line getting his move done on Andrew Dyson. So Jason Martin moving up the field already.
Good clean start from everyone right back throughout the field there as well. So underway here at Milwaukee, we're going to get through the first lap. It's going to be Dave Douglas who takes us through for the lead. Ryan Jones second, Jason Martin up one position into third. Dyso dropped that position, he's now in fourth. It's Curtis Dortnack, Danny G, Luke Trahair up 3 spots already.
Four wide, down back a little bit. I think we might have had a little bit of contact between Gary Wellman and Ben Vickers. Ben Vickers, huge amount of damage on that truck, as he's got his engine pretty much completely done. He's actually just got a little bit of a moment between himself. Gary Wellman's just gone into Lachlan Urquio and then up into Ben Vickers, and that is Vickers a night over and done with.
Yeah, it's very early. Very disappointing.
Front is battling it out. Ryan Jones is all over the back of Dave Douglas like a rash at the moment, really trying to put the pressure on. Taking different lines here. You can see Douglas taking a slightly wider entry into the corner here, just using that mid corner and then just getting a nice run out of the corner. Ryan Jones sticking it nice and tight. Trouble with Ryan Jones's line is he's probably going to chew up his tyres a little bit quicker, be a little bit better for the traction, because that nice bit of asphalt on the bottom line tends to be a little bit grippier, but it will chew up the tyres a little bit more. Dave Douglas will probably just be keeping those tyres a little bit fresher there.
Damage on the front of Jones's truck as well, so just be the livery causing that as we ride on board with the 111 entry as he harasses the back of the 199 of Dave Douglas. We'll get in the inside here and see if he can get the move done. Drag race out of here. Scraps the curve a little bit there. And the inside, not quite enough to get it done yet.
His goal's got to be to try and force Douglas up high, and that's what he's done. Force Douglas right up on the high side, so he's off that asphalt. This is going to give Ryan Jones the lead of the race. You can see there's that grip off the corner there for Jonesy. He's just managed to just fly off that corner and just get in front of Dave Douglas. Now he has to defend. So will he have the pace to try and pull away from Dave Douglas? Has Dave Douglas just done a little bit too much too soon? We'll find out. And you've got to watch out for Jason Martin in the back. the background, sorry, he's going to be one of those drivers that's going to be coming fast and hard. Meanwhile, Danny G making a move on Mirko Dornak. In the background, you can see the orange Mitch Motorsport car getting down the inside of the white 62 of Mirko Dornak. Nice move from Danny G there. Really well done through the corners. Very smooth, and a few cars too wide as well, just behind them, with Luke Traher, I believe, and
Andrew Dyson.
Dyson, yeah.
He's dropped a fair few.
Mickelmore trying to sneak his way through there as well, as Dyson gets pushed up onto that sort of concrete high side and just loses the pace on the corner. Can't make the exit work and just gets passed by Josh Mickelmore.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dyson just dropping some places here. Not the usual sort of thing we see from him, but he may well be playing the game, Carl.
Yeah,
seeing
just
how far he can make it.
I'm just wondering if Dyson is having a little bit of a ponder about the old fuel loads and how the race is going to go. He's thinking, maybe if I go a little bit slower, I can get a little bit further into this race and possibly have a good run. That, of course, does leave you open if there's a caution, but at the moment, it's been pretty clean here tonight, and we've seen a slight accident, but we haven't seen that horrible yellow flag come out. So, good job so far from everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just we'll keep an eye on that, see how he goes.
Meanwhile, Jason Martin's made a move for second place. He's managed to get past Dave Douglas. Ryan Jones, meanwhile, is on an absolute flyer. He is just pulling away. He has got a 1.5 second lead over Jason Martin, so he is really going for it. So, yeah, Ryan Jones is really on a flyer at the moment.
You can see there as well, Riley Curtis closing in on Dave Douglas as well. So, just be some management happening here. Still early on in the race. Daniel Weaver, meanwhile, putting a lot of pressure onto Lachlan Urpio. Just see him come down the back straight away here. Looks like Daniel's going to get that move done on Lockie. Sent it some sports entry and he gets it done, closes it out. So that's another good position up for Daniel Weaver. He's up 8 positions so far. Actually the biggest mover of the evening so far.
But look at Lockie, he's not giving up. He's trying to go the up and under, and he's going to get that move done. So Weaver just left himself a little bit open there and just got caught out then. So Lachlan Urpio doing a real nice job of recovering that position. So nice race between those two. You can see some damage on the front of Urpio. That's from the impact between Wellman and Ben Vickers earlier on in the race. But yeah, as we said, Weaver doing a great job of working his way up the field at the moment, weaving his way through the field, sending it as much as he can, and doing a good job of getting up there.
Wow, I can't believe you managed to fit both of those into one paragraph, Carl. So you've done well, it's good. It's only Monday. Only Monday as well.
I think that's it. Because it's Monday, come the end of the week, I will not be able to make puns like that. So we'll see how that one pans out for us.
Send it, Gary Wellman, in one of the Simboys entries. We'll see our pace lap tonight, or our qualifying lap tonight. He's just putting the pressure on Tim Wester. Looks like he's going to get the move done down the inside here. Same story again. Just force up onto the concrete there. Slow that line down and close the gate on the way out. And he does just that. So Gary Wellman up 4 positions now. He's into 13th place.
Really nice job from him at the moment, just getting past Tim Weston in the bin chicane racing entry. You've got to love that livery and the logo of that team. It is a fantastic little pun there, and but I very greatly approve of the bonnet of that car. That is a fantastic looking vehicle.
Go back and have a look at that one in a sec. In the meantime, Mirko Dornak gets the move done from Danny Chi as well. So Mirko fighting. Mirko and Danny fighting over their qualifying position basically. So this has enabled Josh Mickelmore to get a little gap, about 1 second gap over this fighting pair in the background. So he's trying to attach himself onto the back of Riley Curtis. It's just spaced out a little at the front now. We've got about a second between our front 5 cars trucks at the moment. So just things just settling down a little bit. Josh Mickelmore up 5 places as well. He's just quietly gone about his business. and currently up ahead of this pack that we're riding with now. Looks like Scott Griffiths is also starting to put the pressure onto Luke Trahere in the 43, my apologies, 43 way down entry.
Yeah, watch how this race unfolds, because the guys that are going quick at the moment, I think, are banking a little bit on some caution flags. The guys that are just pacing it a little bit are just pacing it a little more towards the end of the stint, so they're considering more of a longer stint, possibly a single stint action, whereas somebody like Ryan Jones might need to come in for the double. He might have a bit of a drop off on the tyres as it goes on, because you can see Jason Martin is starting to catch him at a vast rate of knots now. The early pace for Ryan Jones is dropping off a little bit, and Martin, who's just been driving a little bit slower, not quite setting the same lap pace, not quite sort of down there, sort of he's been sitting in the mid-30s, whereas somebody like Ryan Jones has been running in the low 30s, so sort of... To give you an idea, Jason Martin's best lap was a 30.6, whereas Ryan Jones was a 30.3. So that's the difference. You know, Jason Martin's been about 3/10 off the pace, but he's been keeping it consistent, and now it's paying off for him because he's able to go a little bit faster because those tyres are in a bit better condition.
Absolutely able to do that, and it looks like here Jason's just getting down underneath Ryan. On into turn one. He's going to get it done relatively easily.
Makes it look easy there, Jason Martin. It definitely is not. Racing Ryan Jones is not an easy thing to do at the best of times, but getting past him is very tricky. Ryan Jones, very, very quick driver, but I think he's just used a little bit too much of those tyres, and he's now starting to fall off the pace. And you can see Dave Douglas starting to catch up to him again now as well. So people like Dave Douglas, Riley Curtis, they're going to start catching up to Ryan Curtis, I'd say. Ryan Jones even. There we go. I'll get it out eventually. They'll start catching up to him now, because I think his tyres are just they've just overheated a little bit, and they're just starting to fall off a bit on the pace. Meanwhile, Daiso is starting to work his way back up the pack, so I think Andrew Dyson was just easing it off a little bit. As we're going to get... Oh, we don't get a caution. We don't get a caution somehow. The big accident between Stevie Dubb and Jamie Budd.
Wow.
So, yeah, big incident there between those two. Those two just got really pinched up into the wall, and it looks like because Bud's just caught Stevie Dubb there, and around they go. Somehow we didn't get a caution from that one, though, so that is...
Wow.
Yeah.
That is unusual.
I think we should check the marshals are still alive and they've still got the flags in their hand. But yeah, that was very lucky to not get a caution from that one, because that was almost one. But I think both cars just managed to keep it moving enough and get away with that one. But that's going to be a real night ender for those two. Stevie Dubb's going to be struggling with that. Same with Jamie Budd as well. Those two drivers are going to be struggling, as a caution does come out now. As it is Todd Maxfield. So Maxfield's just lost it coming off the final corner, and he's gone straight into Norman Clark, unfortunately. Big tank slapper there for Maxfield, and he could not hold that one.
A far less damaging caution, damaging incident that caused that caution. It's unbelievable.
That is exactly what Ryan Jones wanted, though. Ryan Jones, whoever he was praying to just then, it's all been answered for him, because he's going to be able to duck into pit lane now and chuck on a fresh set of boots, which is really going to help him out.
Yeah, he certainly will be happy that it's come out, or as happy as you can be. It plays well into his strategy. I was going to say, it's a pretty brave call from anyone who thought that we might get through tonight without a caution period, and just do the old single stop. So single stop now out the window, and everyone will file in, grab a new set of rubber, particularly with how difficult the pit entry can be here as well. It it wouldn't surprise me. It would surprise me if anyone stayed out at the moment. Igor Burkic, Steve Williams, the only two to stay out on track. It's like Tim Weston, really short-filled. He is out, and he's going to take the lead of the race, just jumping a whopping 12 positions. Carl, maybe you can jump in and have a quick look at what he did in his pit stop.
Well, he did a special technique which is called missing your pit box. That didn't work out too well for Weston. His technique was just to drive through pit lane and not actually stop. So that he's going to be coming in next time round. So that's unfortunate for him. That's really going to hurt his race, and looks like he just completely missed his pit box. So he's going to come in this time round. With I think Burkic and Stevie Dub as well, so those guys will be coming in this time. A less congested pit lane now, so that's the good news. But it is so easy to miss your pit box sometimes. It's a very tricky thing to do if you don't have sometimes if you don't have third-party applications such as Crew Chief
and things like that. Yep.
Yeah. There's a sort of you've got a standard spotter in iRacing. So if you've never driven in iRacing before, we'll do a quick explanation. But you've got a standard spotter, and they'll call when a car's on your inside or your outside, let you know things like that. But they don't tell you where your pit box is. So that is a really big problem. So when you've got things like Crew Chief, it will actually give you a countdown of how close you are to your pit box. And that can be a big difference maker. If you're used to racing in open wheelers or more on road circuits rather than ovals, then having the standard spotter can sometimes be fine. Once you come onto an oval, though, you really want Crew Chief just so it can help out, because you see how congested the pit lane is. It is really just so full of cars. And especially in a caution, you can't really see where your pit box is.
Yep, it makes it difficult. Absolutely does. What's out on the Tundra? Truck at the front, pace truck. Is it a Tundra? I think it is. If not, whatever it is, I think it's, no, maybe not.
It's a generic car though.
It's the iRacing truck.
Yes.
The iRacing pace truck.
It's a Canyonero. There we go.
It's a huge thing. Look at the size of that thing. How would you park that going up to Woolies?
Oh, well, you need it for all your guns. That's it.
All the Audi special visors. Anyway, whatever it is, it'll be coming into pit lane, and it will be Jason Martin who's going to take us away here. He'll look to get away, minimise the wheel spin, and he goes straight away. Another cracking start from Jason Martin, like he has done it 100 times before. He gets away in front. Dave Douglas there just pushing down on the inside with Ryan Jones on his outside. Aidan Schultz, my apologies, Riley Curtis looks like he's got a really good restart, as well as he looks to press that high line, make up a couple of positions. Dave Douglas going to drop.
Oh, we've got a big accident out the rear. We've got cars around. We've got Bruce Barnes and Noddy Tompkins. So one of the SRM cars, and we haven't got a caution out yet. So again, the steward flagmen are being very polite tonight. Just looks like Noddy's lost the actual front end.
Oh, now we've got a caution.
Iron does. Okay.
For a completely different incident. But Tim Weston looks like he's had an issue, so let's jump on board there and have a look what happened.
Oh, just got really loose and around he went.
He else got caught in that.
That was not...
Oh, there goes the motor.
Not fun.
No.
A lot of trucks actually really loose on that restart, so that's really what happened with those guys, and same with Noddy as well. It got loose on that restart, and that's really the ender for them. So yeah, just got completely loose. Unfortunately, the 16 losing it completely of Todd Maxfield, and yeah, Tim Weston just nowhere to go in that respect. I saw somebody avoiding into pit lane as well. Couldn't see who that was. Eagle Burkic there coming into pit lane. So I think he was actually planning to make that stop. But yeah, a few people were getting really caught up in that the restart there, because I think they weren't expecting those trucks to be as loose as they were. They really got caught out by just how loose they were out there.
Yeah, well, first one of the night, so you've got to be a little bit cautious and a little bit brave. It's, you get the balance wrong, and of course you're going to end up around. And another caution here tonight. Carl, you said it might be a night of the yellow flag. In 2 in now, 25, what are we, 30 laps into the race, so hopefully we can get another good strong section of green flag running here.
Yes, hopefully we won't see too many of the cautions come out. Hopefully the old marshals will be kind to us, and the flags won't be out so much. Ryan Jones just a little head of the pace truck there a little bit. The old pace truck, and
he doesn't mind doing that, Ryan Jones. We've seen him do that a few times.
Yeah, got to be careful, because you will cop yourself a penalty from that one. So he'll be looking at copping himself. I'm pretty sure there is a regulation somewhere in the rule book from memory for that one. So I think it's a 5-point penalty or something off the top of my head. But I'll have to double check. I'll have to reread things. It's remembering stuff like that. That's the hard bit. It's remembering it off the top of your head. Yeah, you've got to be careful with that, because you will cop yourself a penalty for it, and you can find yourself getting a few slaps on the wrist as well. Just looking through the field at the moment at big gainers. Kay Donnelly doing a good job in 8th, making 8 positions. Aidan Schultz, I'm not going to mention too much, but he's running in 11th. 16 positions for Ruben Phelps. Maddie Hunter, 14 positions in 16th. That's a really nice run for Maddie Hunter, especially for championship-wise. And as always, as expected, Maddie Raymond running up there in 19th position now. Started 32nd, is running in 19th position. So Mr. Sheen is keeping it clean and cleaning up the field as well, as he eats his way through the pack and works his way up to a better position. So we'll see how that one pays off as they start to form up 2 by 2. The two cars are going to get side by side. We're going to have the Toyota versus the Chevrolet with a Ford behind them. So we have got all the manufacturers up the top at the moment. But who is going to get this restart right? Ryan Jones is going to be on the inside. He's going to have the prime position, but we've seen Jason Martin is lightning on those restarts. This should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how this one happens. Bit of Groundhog Day here. If we get a good long green stint here, so who's going to do what for tyre strategy out of this one?
When is Ryan going to drop the pedal? He's waiting for it, and he's going to wait a little bit, I think. He's got to wait for that pace truck to come in, and he drops it immediately. He does not wait a second longer than he needs to, and he does come up a bit on the track. So again, Ryan just playing a little bit fast and loose with the old rule book there. Just coming up a little bit high there for the start line. Just cutting Jason Martin off a little bit. He didn't really have the best of restarts. Riley Curtis, meanwhile, has got an absolute blinder behind him, really pushing Dave Douglas at the moment. Dave Douglas, again, just taking that slightly different line through the corner and making it work at the moment. Gary Wellman dropping back a little bit, just getting out of position. That's going to drop him down the pack a little bit. We'll see how that one pans out. But Ryan Jones is acting much like a hare at the moment and just sprinting away, while all of those hungry greyhounds behind him just watch and want to try and catch up to him.
Yeah, he's opened up a handy gap here already. 6/10. And Jason Martin. Martin has to fend off the pack forming around him. And another gap back to Andrew Dyson's got Danny G and Kate Donnelly behind him. So a few little gaps just opening up, some groups starting to form. But as is often the case, this group will probably catch up onto the back of Jones once they get themselves sorted. Back onto the back of our race leader.
Yeah, look, that's it. You'll see Ryan Jones just sprinting away at the early stages, just blistering up those tyres and just going as fast as humanly possible. And he is indeed just setting the fastest lap of the race of 30.348 at the moment. But that's going to come to start to hurt him later on in the stint. Meanwhile, you see Jason Martin making a little bit of a mistake there, getting up a bit high, and that's going to give Dave Douglas the opportunity to get back into second place. Double D working his way back up into P2, working his way through the field. Riley Curtis and Josh Micklemore are battling it out behind Jason Martin as well, so keep an eye on that little battle. Got a few good battles going on throughout the pack at the moment. One of the nice things about the Milwaukee Mile is you can get a little bit of that side-by-side racing. It is one of those tracks that you can pass on. You can really do some good things on the odd passing points here, but you still have to be a little bit careful because you can get caught out.
And Scott Griffith battling here. He's down there with Dwayne Priest having a good fight. The Dortmund somehow has ended all the way back down there as well, so this is a battle for 15th around. Just see there, Mirko just trying to get the move done down the inside. It's just a little bit further back here. Dwayne Priest got a little high in the line there, so it's going to allow Mirko to get his way through as he tries to go with Scott Griffith up into 14th position.
Ruben Phelps making a big move on Gary Wellman there. Late lunge on Gary Wellman. Nice pass though by Ruben Phelps. That's going to put him right behind his teammate Aidan Schultz. The Aussie esports teams are both now in official team colours as well. So the paint jobs have been finished up by Ruben. So nice job from him. Looking good on both of those cars. The wonderful Kangaroos on the front of the Australian driver, and of course the Blackburn on the front of the New Zealander.
Donnelly has got Danny G in front of him, Riley Curtis behind, and Richard Dyson's just slipped off the back of Josh Micklemore in front. He was closing that gap down. Has widened a little bit. So Dyso managed tyres at the early part of the first stint before we had our first caution period, so maybe just employing a little bit more of the same strategy here, just in case we do run green to the end. See Jason Martin putting the pressure on Dave Douglas just at the front of that pack as well, and Ryan Jones is checked out. 2.5 seconds to the good.
Yeah, that's it. I was just about to say, it's something you can't rule out because you never know. It could go green to the end right here. You never know how things are going to go in a race. Meanwhile, Kay Donnelly is putting pressure on Riley Curtis at the moment. And those two are side by side, so close to each other there. You can just see those two cars just very much within spitting distance of each other. Perfectly passing though, and Kate Donnelly trying to get that position back on Riley. Riley and Kate having a good little battle there. Kate just getting a little bit loose on the exit. That's going to hurt his run-off speed. That's going to give Riley Curtis just a little bit of breathing room, help him out for a couple of corners. Watch out for Luke Trahere just behind him, of course, in the Nightcall Racing Tundra. He's going to be looking to try and work his way up the field as well. It's been a while since we've seen Luke up on the top step of the old podium in the P1 positions, but never count him out. He is very good at saving those tyres, very quick, and can run at a very good pace as well while saving those tyres. So one of those drivers that you really need to keep an eye out for.
Around nice guy, away down. Let's put the info on that. About the UFC, I didn't realise just quite how frequent the UFC is on. It's also like Pete says, it's on every weekend. So plenty of information on the Way Down Facebook page if you are interested in UFC and all things UFC related. Luke's very passionate about it, so follow that and a little bit about what goes on in the world of UFC from him. So jump on and have a look on Facebook.
You can see the battle in front of them is just getting a little bit dicey now, and they're just losing a little bit of time too, Luke. So Luke's just sitting back here watching this fight between Donnelly and Curtis, as well as Danny G now. Those three car trucks are pretty much nose to tail at the moment, and Luke's just sitting there going, I'll let you battle it out. I'm just going to sit here and watch for a few minutes and see what happens and not put too much pressure on you. Meanwhile, Jason Martin's making a move up the front of the field on Dave Douglas. Martin getting that throw past Dave Douglas and starting to put the pedal down. He's starting to go, all right, it's time. I'm starting to accelerate again. Exactly what we saw last stint from Jason Martin. He just waited until sort of 20 odd laps into the stint, and then all of a sudden started going at a really fast rate of knots, and that's what's happening now. So watch out for this gap to close at the front. I'd say he's going to start closing in on Ryan Jones on the next 5 to 10 laps.
Let's say with a gap that big that Jones is probably going to have burnt through a bit of the quality in that tyre. So last lap around, Jones and Martin dead heat 31.43. So Martin's certainly got the pace, but he won't have used up quite so much rubber doing that. He got past Dave Douglas relatively easy. Again, I feel like a bit of deja vu there. We said that earlier on in the race. Josh Mickelmore now putting the pressure on Dave Douglas as well. So it's time management, that patience, just showing its benefit here. Josh Mickelmore is going to get a move done here. He's all over the back of the 199 of Dave Douglas. Gets down the inside. He's going to push Douglas high and close out that position as well. Move up into P3.
Very nice move. Meanwhile, down a little bit further in the pack, the number 5 of Scott Griffiths is doing a great job in the Synergy Sim Racing team. He has got some great pace now. He's saved his tyres and seems to have just got the pace right now. He is flying through the pack and absolutely catching them.
And passing, now he's opening a gap, so number 5 is on it, getting it done. Thanks very much, Golden. Thanks for joining the stream tonight.
Always a pleasure to see a new face out there. Thank you, Golden. And welcome to the ANZCAR Series, where we are basically here most days of the early days of the week, Monday to Thursday, of course, with all of the fantastic oval action and GT racing on a Tuesday night with the ANZCAR Series.
Just have to excuse my umming and oohing and pushing and what have you. It's really close there, Mirko Dortnack. Let's get the move done, but the 186 Daniel Weaver there, and send it colours, just making things a little interesting for him. Nothing untoward, of course, at all. Just making sure that he earned the position there, as Mirko now looks to make a move down the inside of the 62. Of Aiden, sorry, the 52 of Aiden Schultz, I should say. 62, of course, is Mirko. Having a crack here as well. Mirko making his way back up the grid.
Yeah, Mirko working his way up there. Meanwhile, the battle, the never-ending battle at the moment between Riley Curtis and Donnelly is still going on. Donnelly is desperately trying to get past Curtis, and Curtis is doing a great job of defending, but this time it looks like we're going to see Donnelly get it. There's going to be a little bit of a rub there as they get through the corner, but the Sim Boys 40 is going to get the job done, and Kay Donnelly is going to get up to P7. Nice move there. Very aggressive, but very fair as well. Nicely done by Kay Donnelly. Next up, he's got Danny G on the list. It's a bit of traffic coming into play now as well. This is going to start to get a little bit messy on the track, and this is where you can start making some great advantages as you get traffic management happening.
Yeah, it's just about making your way through the field as smoothly as you can. It was Hamilton say something about that with Max Verstappen last night. So that wasn't quite the case, but it is here. We've got to try and make the opportunity. Of course, no obligation for the lapped car to make life easy for the car coming to lap them. So there's no priority given whatsoever. So can be a little bit of hard work as well if you don't get your timing right.
Something I said earlier, just about the old hare running away from it and the greyhounds licking their lips and chasing after it. Well, that hare has started to tire out, as I said, watch out for Jason Martin, because he's going to start catching Ryan Jones soon, and it is happening. In the last lap, Jason Martin has taken almost a second out of Ryan Jones's lead. Jason Martin is catching quickly, and he is licking his lips. He is ready to attack Ryan Jones right now and get the lead of the race back. Ryan Jones, that early dash not quite paying off for him.
No, I'm not really sure the mindset there with the strategy this early on, because I mean, if there's a caution, of course that advantage is lost. So I mean, I know obviously from the time watching Ryan Jones, just how aggressive a driver he is. He loves to just go absolutely flat out the whole time. So, but he is rapidly falling back into the grasp of Jason Martin, and Martin himself has opened up a cracking gap over Josh Mickelmore, about 1.5 seconds there as well. In fact, over 1.5 seconds. So that little bit of management, that little bit of patience that Jason Martin has shown is going to pay off for him at the moment.
Yeah, really working out well. Another battle that's happening a little bit further down the pack. We've got Luke Traher and Ruben Phelps having a little bit of a fight at the moment. Ruben Phelps working his way up from 31st to 10th at the moment. He's catching onto the tail of these guys. So really working his way through the field, doing a nice job of that as it stands. There was a good little battle going on between Christopher Finley as well. So Finley as well just working his way up past Daniel Weaver, and Aidan Schultz as well dropped back a fair bit. Had a bit of a problem or something. He seemed to have dropped back a fair few positions. Just got caught up on the high line and just lost a lot of time there, Aidan Schultz. So yeah, those guys really catching up well. So they've obviously been just taking being a bit slower in the early stages and taking that pain, and now are taking advantage of those fresher tyres as we are on lap 57 of 100. We've got 43 to go.
Pretty clean other than those caution periods that bred one another. So there is a good chance here that we go the remainder of the race under green. So that's going to favour those who are a little conservative at the start. Finlay here looks to get a move done on Gary Wellman. It also favours our traditional longer tyre runners, so Andrew Dyson, Luke Traher as well, who generally favour that. Matty Ray's another one who can manage tyre, so these guys who are a little bit further down could come into play here if we stick green for the next 42 laps.
Yeah, that's it. This could be a fantastic finish, and of course, I didn't actually manage to get any fuel information, so don't know if they can make it on fuel. I would imagine so, in all honesty. I don't think fuel's going to become an issue, but if somebody does have a little bit of problems with that, then that could be another little bit of a part of the equation happen. But I do think we're probably going to see Ryan Jones come into pit lane in the next 10 laps to get some new tyres on and try something a little bit different. I've just got that feeling that we might see him try something like that, because he is really starting to hemorrhage time right now. So yeah, we'll be interested to see what Ryan Jones does. He's still in a good position though. He has got a fair gap between himself and Josh Mickelmore, and Mickelmore's pace is not that much faster than Ryan Jones. So Ryan Jones is still sitting in a good position to pick up a good finish from this race, but is going to struggle to fend off Jason Martin, who is just absolutely bullying him at the moment.
He's well up in the back of him, so they need to jump into pit lane and go to travel, so that he can go to get that one through pit lane. Hopefully have no more cautions, otherwise it's going to be a pain point for him.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one if he tries it. I mean, I don't necessarily think he will, but if anybody was going to take the risk, I think it would be Ryan Jones, because we do know how much he loves going flat out and just the speed. But he is doing a great job of defending at the moment, just keeping that low line as much as possible, trying to stop Martin from getting underneath and getting onto that lovely, nice, grippy asphalt. So he's just keeping it there, and they're just getting up to the back of Noddy Tompkin at the moment. So it's going to be a little bit of traffic involved in this one now. Noddy just jumping down to the inside there. I think actually coming into pit lane. So he's not going to become much of an issue. There's a nice avoidance there. And he said on the radio quite early as well to those guys, just letting them know that he was pitting too. So really good awareness that the leaders were behind him, so that they knew to go a little bit higher. But this battle is going to start raging on, and Ryan Jones is doing a good job of defending at the moment. But it's not to be sort of mean to Ryan, but it's more a matter of when than if, I think, for Jason Martin's pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He may even manage a little bit here as well, Jason, just knowing he's got the pace, so he doesn't need to lead just yet.
So Noddy Tompkins coming into pit lane. He's going to drop himself a lap down, of course, from that one. And be 2 laps down, actually, now. But he's going to have nice fresh tyres, so we'll get an idea of the pace advantage on those tyres. 36 laps to go. Could be a decent shout. I mean, if we get some moments, we could see some interesting stuff here. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. I'll keep an eye on the speeds there. So just throwing the dice a little bit there and trying something a little bit different.
Trahera and Phelps. Sorry, I was going to say Trahera and Phelps continue their battle.
Yeah, there's a few battles out there that just seem to be never-ending at the moment. Between Kay Donnelly as well and Riley Curtis, that battle is still happening, but Riley Curtis is now trying to attack Kay Donnelly. So that group of cars have been sitting with each other constantly. So they have really been fighting it out constantly all night long.
Sounds like the makings of a good song.
Yeah, sorry, just listening to some of the drivers chatting around, just as a little bit of a moment mid-corner for some traffic. And I think that took away my train of thought. Doesn't take much to take away that train of thought, though, in all honesty. You can see Jason Martin just dropping off the back of Ryan Jones at the moment. He's just dropped off a little bit. I think Jason's just trying to cool his tyres and go for another attack a little bit later on. So I think we'll see Jason going back on the attack soon. Ryan Jones is doing a fantastic job of holding that lead at the moment. Really managing that truck well, considering the fact that those tyres will be pretty on the average. Well, they'll be beyond average by now.
Gave them a battering.
As Donnelly and Riley Curtis are back at it. Riley Curtis trying to get over the top of Donnelly, pushing Donnelly a little bit low, and Riley Curtis going up a little bit high. That's going to give Luke Trahera an opportunity. Luke can't quite make it work, but that battle is still very much on. We've got some great fights in the throughout the field still. As I said, this track does tend to give us some good fights as the night goes on. And it is definitely doing that. And, as I said, passing, it's not the easiest track to pass on, but again, you can make passes work here. So they are really just having to think about where to put the attack. Right now at the front, though, it is Jason Martin thinking about the attack on Ryan Jones. He is all over the back of the green 111, really putting the pressure on the leader. Really thinking about where he can make this pass, trying to work out where is the best place to get underneath Ryan Jones. Where can he force Ryan Jones into a bit of a mistake? Ryan just getting a little bit loose mid-corner. That's going to lose him a little bit of speed. This could be the chance for Jason Martin at the end of this straight. You're going to see Martin get really close here to the back of Jones. Takes a wider line into the corner. Going to try and go around the outside now. Ryan Jones just drifting the car up a little bit. Now you're going to see Jason Martin try and get underneath Ryan Jones. Will he be able to make it work? Not quite enough speed on the exit of the corner there for Jason Martin. Ryan Jones putting a defensive masterclass on at the moment.
Yeah, this is still going to be costing tyres, but equally it's going to be costing Jason tyres as well. So 29 to go, 28 now as they go past Ben Vickers in the Juice Digital entries. Not been his night tonight. And Riley Curtis jumps into pit lane, so Riley Curtis is going to take a stop, get some fresh rubber on. Still going to be enough time for him to make an impact. Lachlan Urquhart decided to do the same thing as well.
This tells me that possibly there is fuel. I don't think anybody would be really considering the stop right now unless it was a fuel thing, I've got to say. So maybe it is a little bit touch and go to the end on fuel, because you're a bit late, I think, to make the advantage up on tyres. I'm sure I'll be proven wrong. So we'll find out how that one pays off. So Riley Curtis is going to drop a lap down from that one, but he is going to have some great pace once he gets back out on track. So this is going to really this is going to make the leaders go, okay, we are in a bit of a danger zone as Jason Martin gets down underneath Ryan Jones right here. Martin gets on that lovely asphalt at the bottom, gets a bit loose, a little bit of a wiggle there as he clips the apron, touches that little bit of curbing, but keeps it going in a straight line. Drag race down towards turn number 3 and 4. Martin on the inside, Ryan Jones on the outside. Jones trying to take the later braking move, but can't quite make it work. Jason Martin's going to take the lead of this race.
Patience. And more patience there from Jason Martin, and now he's out in front. Now it'll be interesting to see how far he can open this gap up. He just manages tyres well enough to enable him to get it there. It just breaks a little for him. Allows Ryan Jones to get back up on the back of the 21 Finnish Motorsport entry. Jones is going to push him again here. Try and see if he can have a dig. He's not quite close enough to do anything. Looks into the corner, gets a good run. Again, he's going to just drop away here now. Getting better drive there and just opening that gap up ever so slightly. Half a second already. Let's see how this plays out. In the meantime, Josh McLemore coming under pressure from Andrew Dyson behind him, and start checking. Is that out of position? It is indeed. It's Riley Curtis with those fresh tyres. He's up into this battle here to try and make his way through.
Yeah, Riley Curtis is going to be flying on those tyres now. And this is going to be, as I said, this is interesting. I'm wondering about fuel now. This is the big thing for me, is will they have enough fuel to get to the end? Because with those cars coming in, it just gave me the feeling that fuel could possibly be a bit of an issue here. But we'll have to find out with this one, because this is what I love sometimes. It's you sort of not knowing, that sort of moment of not knowing and just sort of going, how is this going to play out? Because if they all need to stop again, Riley Curtis is looking in a really good position. But you'll have drivers trying their best to save on things, trying their best to keep things working. Try and save fuel if they can as well. So we'll see how that one works out for those drivers and see what happens.
In the meantime, just resumed here. Once I've got through there, you can see that just looking at the delta there, you can see it's cost a little bit of time there as well. Riley Curtis just burning some tyres. It looks like Dyson here is going to try and move on Mickelmore for P3. He's off now and running. Riley Curtis, just don't spend too much of that new tyre trying to make your way back up through the field. Centre caution now would be good, or particularly those ones wanting to not stop again as Dyson moves away there, so he's going to be in the hunt. In the meantime, we can see that Jason Martin has opened up the lead over Ryan Jones as well. He's now fighting his way through. He's got Aidan Schultz and Matty Ray coming up.
Yeah, you got to wonder about Dyson, because he's sort of been very quiet all night long, and now he's switched it on.
Certainly has. Quiet was exactly the word that came to mind with Dyson. Haven't spoken about him haven't seen him, and there's generally a good reason for that. Just quietly going about his business. He's left it to the right time to try and make something happen for himself. He is lapping half a second quicker than Ryan Jones at the moment as well, so a little bit of that's going to be some of the traffic that Jones is making his way through, but Andrew Dyson's still quicker on track.
Yeah, Dyson is catching those leaders at a fair rate of knots. He's about half a second quicker than most other cars on the track at the moment. So Dyso's looking pretty racy at the moment. He's just switched it on all of a sudden. Just gone, yep, it's now time to move. It's now time to do a little bit of shuffling, and boy is he doing it well. Josh Mickelmore sitting there in 4th position as well. Good night for him, just solid night for him. That's the important thing. Dave Douglas in 5th. Not ideal for him with that pole position. I'm sure he'd like to be a bit higher up, but still, top 5 is never a bad place to be. Danny G just sitting outside of the top 5 in 6th position with Cade Donnelly and Luke Trahere at the moment. Luke Trahere trying to make a move on Donnelly, can't quite make it work, but side by side they go into turn 1. You're going to see Luke Trahere get a great run off the corner here. If he can get down underneath Donnelly, he might be able to make the move right now. And I think it is go time for Trahere as well. I think he's decided it's time. He's going to start trying to make some moves, because he's been a little bit slower, a little bit sort of just sitting there and watching people race, while he's just sat there and quietly gone about his business in the 43. And now he is switching up the pace. So I think it's getting to that stage. We've got 16 laps remaining, where those guys that have saved are now turning the wick up and starting to put the pressure on the guys that were just taking a little bit too much out earlier on in the race.
We said if it runs long, Luke Trahere good at managing his product on his truck, so expect to see him make a late charge. He's doing that now. Dave Douglas has been jogging on the spot a little bit as well. So he did it last time around, identical time to Josh Mickelmore. But Jason Martin's checked out at the front. I can tell you, you can see here, there's Ryan Jones. He's coming through his screen now, and Andrew Dyson just at the top of the straight, so he is coming as well. He's hunting P2.
Dyso is on the move at the moment. That truck is absolutely flying, and he's pulled the pin on his truck and decided now is the time to explode full of energy, start going for the pace and get the speed out of it. And he is really getting a good advantage in there and getting some great pace out of it, as well as I said, one of the quickest trucks out there that isn't on new tyres. Riley Curtis, meanwhile, he is about 30 seconds off the lead on those fresh tyres. He is still the quickest truck out there, of course. Trying that slightly different strategy. Will that pay off? Don't think so, in all honesty. I think he left it a little bit too late to make it work. But he is trying something a little bit different, and if everybody else needs to pit still, then, well, he'll be laughing, because he's going to have such a big gap over them with such a short time to go. He will be in a fantastic spot. Meanwhile, Ryan Jones just getting caught up a little bit in traffic this time around. This is going to give Dyson a little bit of a chance to get closer. Dyson is just absolutely snapping away at that gap, turning it into milliseconds from seconds. He is getting down to about 1 second now. He is really closing up at a vast rate of knots. So Dyso is going to be on the back of Ryan Jones in a relatively short time. Jason Martin's checked out though. He's 3 seconds ahead of Ryan Jones at the moment.
So Robbie Curtis is catching here at well over half a second a lap. So with 13 laps to go, he will get well and truly inside the top 10, I think, if he can keep it running. So I'm not sure. I don't remember where he was when he pit. But he's certainly going to get a little bit of that position back with the fresh tyres, particularly with their leaders continuing to encounter traffic as well.
He was around about 7 when he pitted, so I think he might...
neutral strategy maybe.
Yeah, if it keeps green, I think he might get up to around about P8. So I reckon that's going to be... about P8 will probably be about the best he can hope for, but we'll see how that one pans out, because as often is the case with commentators, we will call it extremely wrong, and Riley Curtis will probably end up winning the race now. So we'll soon find out how much of our words we have to eat.
Absolutely, Riley Curtis for the win, that's for sure. So, but no, it can happen, of course. 11 to go, still anything can happen. Sort of had two green white checkers last week, so as Phelps there just gets down below the speed hump or the snake or whatever you like to call that in your racing parlance, but just gets down there over the ripple strip. He's just trying to battle away with the 06 there. He's up 22 spots.
Just jumping up to the battle for P2 right now. It is on as Dyson is getting underneath the 041 on the 111. Dyson is going to make this one look relatively easy. He's going to get down on the inside and just sneak it through, get past Ryan Jones there. Andrew Dyson up into second place. Can he jump it up to first? That's the question. At current pace, gotta say, he could possibly be on this, but Jason Martin is starting to respond.
With a gap 4.6 seconds to the good, Martin, he's got a little bit of time that he can manage, 9 to go, so the pace between the two is negligible, the difference between the two. So can't really see anyone catching Martin from here, as Dyson was being held up, which I'm sure was the case.
This is on now between Dyson and Martin. It's what those two can do. There's only 7 laps remaining, though. This is going to be tricky because Dyson has to make up 3.5 seconds over 7 laps. That's a big ask in anyone's terms. That is a lot to make up. So we'll see how that one pans out. A late caution here could be the thing that changes the race, of course. But we've got 7 laps remaining. It is Jason Martin for the Mitch Motorsport car in the lead. Andrew Dyson for DPR in second. Ryan Jones in third position. Great race from Ryan Jones. Maybe took out a little bit too much of the tyres in the early stint, but he is keeping that truck pointing in the right direction and keeping it in a solid position at the moment in third. Next up we have Josh Micklemore in fourth position. He's got Dave Douglas biting down at the rear of him at the moment, trying to get to the rear of Josh Micklemore for that P4 position. That battle is definitely going to be on soon. Danny G in sixth with Luke Trahair seventh, Craig Donnelly in eighth, ninth is Ruben Phelps, and 10th we have Scotty Griffiths.
Yeah, we're just keeping an eye on this Dave Douglas battle here. Closest on track at the moment. Riley Curtis up to 12th. If you're monitoring that situation, he's putting pressure on Nico Dortnack. As we've got 6 to go. Pretty comfortable at the front. Dyson comfortable second. So Ryan Jones in third. Just keep an eye here on this battle. Dave Douglas get it done. A strong drive from Josh Micklemore tonight. What we expect to see from Josh.
Both trucks getting loose there. Yeah. They both had to ease off the accelerator there, just lift off the throttle to save those trucks from spinning out. But Dave Douglas managed to get it perfectly done and manages to squeeze it up past Josh Micklemore. Dave Douglas moving up to P4. Nice change of position there. Good move from him.
Very clean. And Luke Trahair's putting pressure on Danny G behind as well. We'll have a quick look at that one. Also, this one he's resolved itself a little bit. Josh Micklemore just struggling with some rear tyre there. Let's have a quick look here and see if his teammate Danny G can hold out Luke Trahair. In fact, that gap's opened up a little bit as well. So a pretty smooth driving from those two to make sure that happens. Curtis in the 93. He's done about all she wrote now. 3 laps to go. He's 4 seconds off Scott Griffith inside the top 10, so he's not going to probably get much more than that. Worth the roll of the dice, that alternative strategy just hasn't quite panned out tonight. And of course, you can easily be the hero as well as the villain. So, Jason Martin, how many times, Carl, in your time with ANZCAR, would you call this man's name associated with this series at the front of the pack?
Well, the first bit of advice I had when I jumped up to do commentary for the series was get ready to say Jason Martin is in the lead of the race. That was the first and only bit of advice I was given before being thrown into the booth. And yeah, it turned out to be a good bit of advice because Jason Martin is one of the most dominating drivers in the series. He is one of those drivers that is just so good on his night. He's not had the best of years, but he is very fast, and when he is on it, there are few that can beat him, and tonight is one of those nights for sure. Not getting the qualifying position he would have wanted for sure. The white flag is out, but the race pace has just been absolutely impressive. Andrew Dyson as well, you've got to say, great job from him. He is trying his best to catch up, but not enough with the time to go. Unless Jason Martin makes an uncharacteristic mistake, we are going to see him crossing the line for the victory here. Dyson doing a admirable effort, though, to try and catch up to the Mitch Motorsport. The purple Mitch car, number 21, is going to take the checkered flag and the win here for the Milwaukee Mile with the ANZCAR Series. Andrew Dyson's going to come home second. Ryan Jones going to come home in P3 with Dave Douglas fourth. Josh Mitchell's going to come home fifth. Danny G should just about come home in sixth position. Kate Donnelly is going to come home seventh as Luke Traher dropped down a little bit. So Kate Donnelly managed to snatch it past Luke Traher on the last lap there. So Luke just losing a little bit of pace on that final lap, and Kate Donnelly just snatching that position on the last corner. Ruben Phelps finished in P9, 31st to P9, 22 positions gained. Biggest gainer of the night, Ruben Phelps. Riley Curtis ended up inside the top 10 with that alternate strategy. Didn't quite pay off for him, but he had to try it. Scott Griffiths in 11th, 12th for Mirko Dornak. Daniel Weaver, 13th in the end, 14th for Lachlan Urquio. Brent Hobbs, 15th, 16th is Matty Raymond, 17th for Christopher Finley, 18th for Wellman, 19th for Hunter. Bruce Barnes in 20th. 21st we have Aidan Schultz, Norman Clark 22nd, 23rd for Kopp, 24th for Tompkins, Williams 25th, 26th for Burkick, Budd 27th, 28th for Vickers, Joey Priest down 29th, 30th for Weston, Maxfield down at 31st, and out early unfortunately was Aaron Dillon.
Another good race from this series, plenty of clean racing too, as well as mentioned in the comments, but a bit of teammates bumping and rubbing. Josh Mickelmore's out of fuel, but I can't see that being the case. But a really, really strong drive there from Jason Martin, a race well managed, and he takes home the bickies at the end of the evening. Just waiting.
So, if you want to know how close it was for Jason Martin, he crossed the line with 0.4 gallons left.
Rightio, so that explains it then. We were expecting it to be tight, and they say there Josh Mickelman maybe did run out of fuel in pit lane. He didn't quite get back to his pit box, but his teammate there just gave him a little friendly nudge to get him back to where he needed to get to.
Yeah, very close there at the end. So yeah, fuel did become a major factor at the end there, so obviously they just did enough saving to make it right. Riley Curtis obviously just didn't have enough to get home, so that's why he chose to come in for that pit stop. So he chose to roll the dice on that one. That could have turned out a little bit differently for him if a few people ran out.
So we'll get our grid into the booth now, and you'll ask them the hard questions, Carl. We are joined by our podium, Ryan Jones, Andrew Dyson, Jason Martin, in reverse order.
Yeah, reverse order from qualifying as well, isn't it, really?
It is.
First of all, we'll start off with third place man, Mr. Ryan Jones. Congratulations on that P3, mate. Very strong race there.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, actually. I mean, I hate fuel-saving races, and we ended up getting one, and it's probably cost me a win, but it is what it is. Jason did a phenomenal job, as he always does, holding onto his tyres and his fuel. I think Andrew did the same thing. I didn't know how much fuel I needed to save until about halfway through the stint, which probably cost me in the end because I had to bulk save in the final half when Jason got to me, which means I couldn't defend from him, and Andrew got to me too.
Yeah, we saw the pace drop off a little bit. We wondered if it was possibly down to the tyres, but we heard on the radios at the end it was definitely more of a fuel thing there. You had some really good pace tonight, and you had pole position stolen away by the thief in the night that is Dave Douglas. You can't get much closer in qualifying than you two there.
Yeah, it's good to see the times that close, isn't it? Well, it provides some excitement in qualifying. Disappointed to miss out there, but I guess that sums up the night, doesn't it? So close, but so far.
So close, but so far away.
Guess we'll have to try again next week.
That's it. That is always the way. Try again, and I am sure you will get it again. Look, get that pole position time. Well, that second place time. I mean, you were both pretty much equal on times. I've not seen anywhere the exact times, but on all of our screens it was a 30.161. Just setting pretty much identical times. That is just such a ridiculous thing to have happen, and it must be just a little bit sour when you miss out on it.
100%, especially when you messed up the lap. Optimal was a few hundreds quicker. But you know,
that's the thing I love about you, Ryan, is the fact that you are just like, yeah, could have gone quicker. You are always the hare leading away the pack tonight. Did you find you were chewing tyres a little bit tonight, or was it mainly just the fuel that cost you that time?
Nope. My tyres held on pretty good. I think all the time I lost to Jason in the first stint and the second stint as well was down to just me making mistakes and shooting wide. Having the Jason Martin homing missile locked onto your arse end is sort of privy to me forcing it into a couple errors, so I did that. And Jason got up to me, but I was able to fend him off for a while until, I realised that fuel was going to be an issue, and off he sailed.
Oh, look, you put on a great performance, and you did some great defending as well. I just got to mention that, because towards the end of the race there, we saw really nice lines being run, and, as you said, the Jason Martin missile coming to attack you, it's hard to defend against that, but you did a great job of doing it for as long as you did. Congratulations on a top 3 finish, and we're going to be seeing you a bit more in the trucks this year. Are you going to be focusing on trucks, or will it be, as usual, a little bit sort of spotty?
It depends. If I keep staying at home because I can't go to any racetracks and do my job, then probably the whole season. Otherwise, maybe a bit spotty because I normally come back wasted from a weekend. Not literally wasted, but wasted from a weekend out. So we'll see. Hopefully the full season. I'd love to have a title crack at one of these for once.
We wish you all the best. Hopefully we'll get you to a few. Hopefully things will get back to a bit more normality as well, so you can actually get to do some work, because I know it is needed. Vitally important work that you do. As usual, Ryan, the usual shout out and love to people throughout the world that you'd like to say hello to.
No one really. Mum, as always. Jason and Andrew for a good race. You're both really quick all through the race, and Jason, as always, I wish you were slower. But that's all.
No worries, Ryan. Congratulations. All the best to your mum, and I'm hoping we'll get you back in the booth very shortly.
Cheers, boys.
Next up, we will head to the man, the beard, the legend, Mr. Andrew Dyson. Congratulations on P2 there. Looked like you were trying your best to chase down Jason Martin, but just could not do it at the end.
Where do you come up with this stuff, man? The beard, the legend, that's absurd. But I had a bit of a go at chasing Jason. He had really good pace at the end of the race still, and I probably left my run maybe a bit too late. But at the same time, I think back to the start of that last stint, and I probably got held up in a couple of spots, and probably got balked a little bit by some slower cars. Not that they did it intentionally, but I probably just didn't play it as well as I could have. So maybe it might have cost me, but it probably didn't cost me 30 seconds. So maybe I left my run too late. But that was a great race with all the guys tonight.
Yeah, we saw a really nice long couple of green sections in there, a couple of cautions. But I was sort of expecting probably to see a little bit more than we actually saw tonight. Did you think there would be a few more yellows towards the end there, or were you expecting it to go green to the end?
Myself and Steve were joking before the race, just saying, "Oh, this is going to be a caution fest." Like, but I was actually pretty surprised. It was only like, what was there, 1 or 2 or something? So pat on the back to everyone tonight.
No, congratulations on P2. Great run. As you said, maybe left it just a tiny bit too late. But look, this is the thing. Just still learning on ovals, of course. This is the whole thing. Learning on the oval stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I can keep hanging on to that, because I've been doing it for a while now, so I can only latch on to the learning thing for so long. But
you get a year of it. That's it.
All right, cool. No, well, actually, technically, it's been a year, because my first race at ANZCAR was last year at the second race in Darlington, where I upset everybody because I didn't know there was a chase thing on.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that's correct. So yes,
I kind of busted some people up and made everyone hate me from day one.
So, yeah, no longer a rookie, so that's it. So yeah, you just completely messed up, and you need to get your oval racing act together, mate.
Bang on, mate. That's exactly right.
No, congratulations on another strong finish, Andrew. As usual, the usual shout out and love to anyone you'd like to say hello to tonight.
Yeah, sure, man. Well, congrats to Ryan and Jason tonight on the podium. Great job, guys. Thanks to you guys as always. Thanks to all the guys at ANZCAR for putting this on. Thanks to Phoenix Smokers, Simrigs.com, South of Lisbon, Hoist, Max Mechanical, all those guys. And mate, since everyone else is doing it, may as well say go to Ryan's mum. How you going?
Thank you so much, Andrew Dyson there. Congratulations on the P2. Next up, we will head to the winner, Mr. Jason Martin. Congratulations on that win, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. Pretty happy with that one.
Another good run for you. Look, you have had some great runs in the past. Tonight was just one of those. You were just very strong there towards the end.
Yeah, I kind of took it easy, really, probably a bit too easy early on, and Ryan got a massive gap, and I had to work hard to drag that gap back down. So I might have chewed up my tyres a fair bit trying to hold him back in. So yeah, once I caught him, I realised that I was probably going to be short on fuel, so I sat behind and saved some fuel, cooled those tyres off, and then tried to get past him.
Well, you managed to get up there and get back past him, and you had the pace out there tonight. Were you just sort of, obviously I heard a little bit of a mention when you got to the line that you were maybe a little bit shy on fuel?
About 40 laps to go, I was probably right on running out at the line, so I had to save a little bit just to make sure I made it to the end. So yeah, I had to be careful of fuel, had to look after the tyres, just a bit of everything. And I don't think many of us knew but this track very well, so yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, of course, Milwaukee Mile, it's one of those tracks that is a little bit difficult to run on sometimes. It's just that little bit strange to run, very flat track, things like that. And, again, were you expecting to see a few more cautions out there tonight than you did?
Well, I barely knew the track, so I'm guessing a lot of other people barely knew the track. So yeah, I expected lots of yellows early. Absolutely shocked that we didn't have more.
It's always good to see when that doesn't happen, and it's good to see when a race pans out. That's your 19th win in trucks, I believe. So you're almost up to the 20. Very successful in these things. You tend to go well in the old trucks.
Yeah, I find they drive a bit more realistic than the Cup car at the moment. I'm not a big fan of how the Cup car drives, so yeah, I enjoy the truck and the Xfinity car better than the Cup car at the moment.
No, it definitely shows, and obviously, season 3 of the Truck Championship. This is going to help your championship hopes. What's your feeling going into the championship? Are you hoping to try and take out another victory in that one, or is it going to be a little bit tricky this season? Do you think?
Not sure. I'll worry about that a bit closer to the end. Hopefully, I've got a shot at it, but I won't worry about that too much until it's closer to the end and just turn up, have some fun, and hope to do well.
No worries. Thank you so much, Jason. Before I let you go, the usual shout-out, love to sponsors and everybody in general.
Well done to Andrew Dyson and Ryan Jones for a second and third. The boys at Mitch Motorsports, a pretty decent result. BK Designs for sponsoring the team. And, of course, FGMeCast for doing a broadcast.
You're always welcome, especially when you give us such great racing like that. Thank you so much, Jason. I'm sure we'll catch you back in the booth soon.
Ooh, thanks, mate.
So, Stuart, Milwaukee Mile done, finished, and we will be moving on with the trucks. We'll be heading off to North Wilkesboro next. Very, very different track, very different configuration. That's going to be a fun 130 laps around the wonderful old circuit of North Wilkesboro.
Well, if it's anything like tonight, Carl, it's going to be another great race in the Truck Series. The series just keeps on giving, and I'm looking forward to that one. And a little bit of fuel strategy tonight, something that we don't normally talk about that much with the Truck Series. So, again, just changing it up.
definitely caught us off guard as we were thinking, probably tyres are dropping people off. No, it was definitely the fuel that was dropping people off there, so that's always fun. But we have got a full week of broadcasts coming up for you, of course. If you are enjoying what you've seen tonight, keep on keeping on with us, because we have got some fantastic action coming up all week long, haven't we, Stuart?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're off to Zandvoort tomorrow night for the Ozprom Sim Series 745. That's going to be an absolute cracker. If you caught any of the Formula One over the weekend, that but more exciting, and with probably 40 to 50 GT3s on the track, it's destined to be a really, really good night out. Looking forward to that one on Wednesday. Back with the Thunder Series, just to double check the time on the Thunder Series on Thursday night. No changes notified yet, but there are some planned updates from 9 o'clock on iRacing on Wednesday evening. So we'll just keep an eye out for that one. But 7:45, just keep an eye on the socials to see if that changes before we get there. And then last but not least, back with the chase on Thursday night, the third of 10 rounds as we close out the season on the ANZCAR Cup Series. So plenty to come this week on FGMeCast. I'm going to be joined by Carl all week, of course, and I think Scotty Rankin will be dropping in tomorrow night. So stick with us. It's going to be a big one. And yeah, Carl, thank you as always for tonight.
You're always welcome, and a big thank you to all that joined us tonight watching. Just make sure to hit the old subscribe buttons, things like that. It does help an enormous amount for the channel. We are trying to grow a little bit more to make sure that we can bring this fantastic action to more and more people across the world, and hopefully they get to enjoy it as well. But a big thank you to everybody that has joined us tonight.
And from us on FGMeCast, that's it for this evening. We are out. FGMeCast, your e-place for pace. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:45, same place. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you then. Good evening.